So it is our first lecture and we will be discussing introduction and history today. Okay. So basically I have written a tool of the future because obviously it is a very unique technique through which we can genetically modify some of the things actually, okay, in our system, in our DNA. It is basically a DNA strand. Okay, so firstly, I would like to give an overview of the CRISPR. Okay, so basically, the definition of CRISPR is clustered, regularly interspaced, short palindromic repeats. Okay, it is basically a specialized region found in the DNA of the bacteria and archaea. Okay, basically, it is a self defensive mechanism of them. Okay, so it is basically their adaptive immune system. Okay, these sequences allow microorganisms to recognize and defend against viruses. Okay, viruses like bacteriophages. Okay, so CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing technology has emerged as one of the most transformative scientific breakthrough of the 21st century. Okay, with far-reaching impacts across medicine, agriculture, biotechnology, and beyond. Means all the science fields, either it is a life science or it is a physical science, they are slightly or with great efficiency they are involved with this technique. CRISPR system basically works in the conjugation with the Cas9 genes. Okay, the most used endonuclease with the CRISPR is Cas9, but there are several genes also too, like Cas12, Cas13, etc. ठीक है, to detect and cut the foreign genetic material. Means they work as an endonuclease, these protein genes, Cas genes. What is Cas? It is CRISPR associated genes. So it is a short form of CRISPR associated gene. Okay, Cas genes. So our learning objective for today's are, and firstly we will understand that what is the CRISPR's natural biological function. Means CRISPR, as we know that it is found in bacteria and some archaeas. So why it is there? Okay, because it is basically a strand of DNA and it is present in bacteria and archaea, so there will be some function of it. Okay, so we will understand that what is the basic function and what is the naturally, if it is found naturally. Okay, and trace the historical development that from the starting, from where it was discovered to till today, what are the development, what is the evolution of this technology, and the molecular mechanism of CRISPR-Cas9, and the key scientists and milestones they have achieved in this field. Okay, from the last decades to till now, and the ethical consideration that it is ethical or not. So basically, if we're talking about CRISPR, so we have already, I have already told you that it is a clustered, regularly interspaced, short palindromic repeats. So why it is named so? Firstly, this is the first and basic question, that why it is named so, that CRISPR. Okay, so clustered means that the sequence are appearing in groups, in clusters of DNA. So that's why we took the word clustered. Then regularly interspaced means the space between them is very, very regular. Means if, like, I'm just giving an example, that if there is a row of 10 students and 10 students are standing maintaining the spaces of 5 meters each, so they are regularly interspaced. Likewise, this, the repeats are separated by unique spacer DNA segments, means they are sequenced with proper spacing. Okay, taken from the viruses, so they are called regularly interspaced. And then it is short palindromic repeats, so they are short, means they are of 20 to 50 base pairs in number. Okay, means the genes present in it are 20 to 50 base pairs and often are palindromic, means they can be either read from backward to forward like madam. Means either we are reading it from forward, that is MADAM, or we are reading it from backward, MADAM. It both means the same. Okay, so that's why it was called as, yeah, or it was named as CRISPR, that is clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats. Like there is no alphabet in the CRISPR, that is E, in the last second E. We pronounced as CRISPR. There is a phonetics of E, but we don't write E in the when we are writing its name. That is CRISPR. Just keep it in mind. Okay, it is basically the DNA sequence showing the repeating patterns, that how the DNA or the nucleotide R base pairs repeats. Okay, from backward to forward and from forward to backward. They both are the same. So basically, CRISPR systems are naturally present in about 40% of the sequenced bacterial genomes and 90% of archaeal genomes. Means there is the sequence of CRISPR, if we talk about in the bacterial genome, so it is 40% of the sequence, and in archaea, it is 90% of the sequence. And they are located in the CRISPR loci, which consist of repeats spacers. Okay, means the nucleotide base pairing is always repetitive. They are short palindromic, like 28 to 37 or 20 to 50 base pairs, and there is a unique sequencing of similar length that lie between the repeats. These spaces are derived from the DNA of the viruses that have previously attacked the bacterium. Basically, it is autoimmune system. Like if we talk about our human immune system, so what is who protect our body? Who is responsible for our immunity? Can anyone answer, please? I just want to answer from your side. If we talk about human, what thing protect us from external diseases, viruses, bacteria, etc. harmful? Please give the answer. Anyone? Yeah, yeah, our immune system, I know that, but what is the thing? Means what uh, which cell, which type of cell protect, means makes our immune system better, or okay, right. Okay, but we can just simply say that lymphocytes, the B and T cells. Okay, right. So just like that, the bacteria have their immune system also. So that is the CRISPR. Okay, and the CRISPR sequence found naturally in the bacterial immune system. So if we talk about it, so they are the repetitive sequence. Okay, they are clustered and they are regularly interspaced. So there is a fun fact that when it was discovered, so it was originally called spider, SPIDR, that is spacer interspersed direct repeats. So why it is called so then? So what were the reasons for the original spider name? So spider is short repeats, that is the DNA sequence were observed to be short, typically 21 to 48 base pairs. So it was already discovered that the sequence of the CRISPR is the short one. Okay, they were palindromic. Likewise, we are having the definition of CRISPR, that they are palindromic. The repeats often contains palindromic sequences. Okay, they are interspaced and they are direct repeats, that the sequence appears in a directly repeating pattern, not inverted. Okay, and then if it was named spider, then why it was renamed to CRISPR? There were some complications now. So in that name, in the spider name, so it was then renamed as CRISPR. So in 2002, the scientists Rudd Jansen and Francisco Mujica, proposed the term CRISPR, that is clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats. And why it is named so? Because as we have discussed previously, that clustered better describe how repeats appear in the group rather than here direct repeats. They were not direct repeats, they were the clustered. Okay. And they were regularly interspaced, emphasized in the consistent spacing between the repeats, and the acronym CRISPR was more memorable than distinct than the spider. So here it is a bacterial adaptive system. Okay, and it protect bacteria against the viruses that are bacteriophages. Okay, that infect the viruses. So on the left side, we can see the electron micrograph of bacteria, which is under the phage attacks. If you can see that we have marked the square, that is 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are the bacteriophages who are attacking the bacteria. Okay, so the bacteria on being evolved in the last centuries or last millenniums, they evolved and developed their own immune system, and that immune system is naturally known as CRISPR. So the key components are CRISPR array, Cas proteins, and the protospacers. Now the CRISPR Cas9 system. So Cas9 basically is a RNA guided DNA endonuclease. And what are endonuclease? Endonuclease basically are the molecular seizures. And if we talk about the endonuclease, so we also have endonuclease in our system, which cuts our DNA strands to make the new DNA sequence. Okay. So in bacteria, it is Cas9, which is RNA guided DNA endonuclease. Next, there is a guide RNA. What is guide RNA? As the name is suggesting, that guide means which guides something. And here, what is, okay. Are they moving now? Okay, then. Great. Okay. So basically, as the name is suggesting, guide means who guides something for giving the direction or a place new. Okay, for a new place. If someone is guiding someone, so we can say that he or she is a guide. Likewise, in the DNA system of bacteria, there is a guide RNA. What is its work? Its work is to guide Cas9, okay, the endonuclease, so that he can cut the DNA from the specific site. Means basically it tells Cas9 protein from where to cut the DNA. Basically, it is 20 nucleotide targeting sequence. Okay. Next, there is a PAM sequencing. It is NGG necessary for target recognition. It is a sequence which is targeted by guide RNA so that Cas9 can cut that sequence from there. Next, how CRISPR works. Basically, it works with the three-step. It is a three-stepped process. Step one is adaptation, where it captures the foreign DNA spaces and then it is integrated into the CRISPR array. Okay, like saving a virus fingerprint in a database. Means if some virus attacks the bacteria, then the DNA and or RNA of that particular virus get into the DNA or the immune system of the bacteria, and from there it cuts the specific sequence so that it can develop that defense mechanism regarding to that particular virus. Next, there is expression, that is transcription of CRISPR array into the pre-cRNA and then processing into mature cRNA. Step 3 is interference, that is cRNA guides Cas9 to target the DNA, and then DNA cleavage creates double stranded break there. Okay, basically we will study it tomorrow. I am just giving an overview of the mechanism that how CRISPR works, but we will studying it, yes, tomorrow in our next lecture. Okay, so it was just an overview. Next, the historical discovery. It was all about the introduction there, and now we have come to the part of history. So, how was it discovered, and what were the modification or the evolution from that? Okay, so basically, it was discovered in 1987. So from 1987 to till 2025, there were many discoveries and many theories of every scientist who is working on CRISPR. Okay, and then from then to now, this technique or this the information regarding this DNA sequence has evolved very much. Okay, so Ishino team at Osaka University first observation in E. coli genome means Yoshizumi Ishino first discovered this CRISPR in E. coli genome. Okay, and initially considered as the junk DNA. What is junk DNA? Junk DNA is type of DNA which have no any proper function, which doesn't have any proper function in our genetic makeup, means either we are it is phenotypically or genotypically it doesn't have any relevance to that, means like our hair color, our skin color, our eyes color, or our internal organs, our emotions, what is our thoughts, what is our thought process, it does not have any involvement in that. It is just junk, it is of no use, it is just present there. Okay, so the type of DNA sequence which are not in the use of any genotypic or phenotypic makeup of any organism. Okay, that DNA sequence or RNA sequence is known as junk. So likewise, there are many junk DNA sequences in our body too, in other animals' body too. So it was firstly considered as junk, that it is of no use. Okay, but in 1987, Yoshizumi Ishino and his team at Osaka University made a groundbreaking yet initial overlooked discovery while studying the IAP gene in E. coli, that is Escherichia coli. So how they overlooked the discovery, and just they started studying the Escherichia coli, and they thought that it is just a piece of junk DNA which is not of any use. But by sequencing a region of the E. coli genome, they observed an unusual repetitive DNA structure. But after studying it more, they they were able to see that there is a DNA sequence which we were calling that it is a junk DNA, but there is a repetitive sequence of that DNA sequence. Okay, so it is basically a series of 29 nucleotide repeat interspaced with non-repetitive spaces sequencing of 32 nucleotides. So this finding was published in the Journal of Bacteriology. Firstly, the first, we can say that article regarding the CRISPR was published in the Journal of Bacteriology, accompanied by the image of sequenced DNA fragment. So they have took the photo of that DNA fragment, which was repetitive, okay, and then which clearly showed the altering repeat spacer patterns. And at that time, the biological function of these sequence was unknown, and they were dismissed as junk DNA. Basically, you know what is the problem of our scientific society, that we so if there is a discovery, if any discovery is made, so some of the scientists will start opposing it, and some of them will uh, means giving it like it is a boon, it is a future of this particular thing. Okay, like if you know about GJ Mendel, that is Gregor John Mendel, when they were studying the basic laws of genetic variations in the peas. So, and when he told the scientific community about this, that how the change in genetic makeup or genes that are dominant genes and recessive genes work. Okay, so everyone thought him as a fool, and when he died, then they were giving credited to him like he was great and he have discovered such a beautiful thing or such innovative thing which can change the future of genetics. But when he was alive, no one was caring that what he has done, or what extraordinary thing he has done. It is basically the thing that every single experiment can take lives of means experimentation for a single discovery to happen. So like this, earlier everyone thought about this like a junk DNA. Next, nearly 2 decades later, likewise, as you see that 20 years later, researchers studying microbial genome rediscovered these repetitive sequence in another bacteria and archaea, coining the term CRISPR. Okay, that is clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats. And by 2000s, scientists uncovered their role in bacterial adaptive immunity. Means it took the scientists 20 years just to discover that no, it was not a junk DNA. It was actually the sequence of DNA which provides autoimmunity to the body of bacteria against the virus. And later on, from 1987 to 2000s, means nearly 20 years, they discovered its significance, its actually what is its work. So scientists uncovered their role in bacterial adaptive immunity, where the spacer sequence derived from the viral DNA help bacteria resist phage infections. So, how bacteria took that DNA sequence from the virus and make their autoimmunity, so that if in future these type of viruses attacks the bacteria, so it will have a particular immunity against them. So basically, this is relevation laid the foundation of CRISPR-Cas9, a revolutionary gene editing tool derived from the same system Ishino had first documented and discarded also. Okay, so Ishino work exemplifies how foundational discoveries, even those initially deemed insignificant. Likewise, I said it was firstly told insignificant, and then after 2 decades, it was said that it is basically one of the best thing. It is a boon for the future of the genetics, biotechnology or microbiology. That it is the boon for all the subjects, that it can transform biology. Is it will give some new things, some extraordinary things in the field of biology. So his paper 1987, that was in, we have already told that, in the Journal of Bacteriology. Okay, so his paper, once a curiosity, became a cornerstone of one of the most transformative technology in genetics and biotechnology. Likewise, I said that he discovered the gene, he published his paper in the Journal of Bacteriology, but it doesn't gain any significance or any popularity in the scientific community. But later on, 2 decades later, it became the topic of concern, the curiosity amongst the scientific community, that it is a cornerstone, it is a boon for the transformation of genetics, biotechnology, biochemistry, bioinformatics, every field of the life science which is actually connected to the genetics or the modifications or the gene immunology. So it will be a boon for every subject. So from 2000 till 2000, it was slightly or little bit proved that it will become a boon for the genetics in future. But from 2000 to 2005, there were key discoveries made. That is, Francisco Mojica recognized CRISPR sequences, and the term CRISPR coined in 2002. Till 2002, it was called as SPIDER. So, Francisco Juan Martinez Mojica, a microbiologist at the University of Alicante, Spain. So, he was basically a microbiologist in the University of Alicante, Spain. So, he was first to recognize that the biological significance of unusual repetitive DNA. So, he was the first thinks who thought that there is a significance of these repetitions in the DNA sequences of the bacteria. Okay, and it can be unusual and it can aid something in the body of that bacteria. So The DNA sequence was initially observed by Yoshizumi Ishino in E. coli, but its significance was first uh, identified by Francisco Mujica while studying Halopharax mediterranei, a salt-tolerant archaean. Halopharax mediterranei is basically found in the Mediterranean Sea, which is in the middle of Europe. Okay, and in that sea, there is this bacteria is present, which is very salt-tolerant, and it was containing that particular DNA sequence, that is our CRISPR sequence. Okay, so Mujica noticed similar repetitive sequences interspaced with unique spacers in them. Intrigued, he conducted a systematic analysis of microbial genomics and found these repetitive in nearly 40% of bacteria and 90% of archaea. Means all the species of bacteria present in the world, it was found 40% of bacteria and 90% of archaea. Means mostly the species of archaeans have this repetitive sequence as their defense mechanism. So in 2002, he coined the term CRISPR while studying in detail about these repetitive genes, or because likewise I said that Ishino just stopped working on this DNA sequence, thinking of that it is a junk DNA. But later on, Francisco Mujica started studying and proved its significance to the rest world. And then he, while discovering its being the curious and the discovering its basically the advantages, so he coined the term CRISPR, that is clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats, to describe the pattern. Means basically why we give a name to particular thing, regarding we name anything. Means either it is a zoological name or botanical name or any microbial name, bacterial name. So how can we give a name to a particular thing or particular organism? So basically we give the name according to their physical appearance, according to their origin, or according to their structure. like like there is a tree, that is neem tree, which is indigenous to our India. Okay, so it is named as Azadi rectus indica. Okay, because its origin is from India, so its name as Azadi rectus indica. Likewise, mango tree, mango has origin in India, so it is known as Mangifera indica. Mangifera is for mango, and indica is from its origin, that its roots are present in India. Next, first proposed as bacterial immune system in 2005. So basically, it is Mojica's breakthrough came when he analyzed that the spacer sequence between the CRISPR repeats. Okay, so he also found that, because firstly, when Ishino was discovering or was analyzing something, he doesn't find any repetitive sequence between the that repetitive sequence, and he doesn't find any spacer sequence. But unlike him, when Mojica was studying, he made a breakthrough by analyzing the spacer sequence between the CRISPR repeats. And he discovered that many spacers match the viral or plasmid DNA. Okay, because as we know that how our immunity work, that if our body or some any bacterial body is attacked by some virus, so our body make antibodies against it. Okay, and in future, if the same type of virus will attack our body, so our body is already prepared for that attack, and it will kill those viruses because we are having the antibodies regarding that particular viruses or bacteria. Okay, so basically when he studied the bacteria, then he found that some spacers present between the CRISPR repeats were matching the viral or plasmid DNA. And after studying them, he suggests that it is basically the defensive mechanism of the bacteria, because there are viral and plasmid DNA present in between as the spacer sequences. So it may be a actually autoimmune system of that particular bacteria. And in 2005, he and independent researchers, that is Bolotin, Porcel, and others, published finding proposing that CRISPR-Cas acts as a bacterial adaptive immune system. Okay, so after studying all this, they made a conclusion and they published their findings that as it is basically a bacterial adaptive immune system. And this theory confirmed when basically the spacer was shown to be derived from the past phage infection, means these bacteria, when they were observed properly, the scientists analyzed that these bacteria were previously attacked by some viruses, and in response to that attack, they just prepared themselves and get evolved by making their autoimmune system by adding the spacers of their particular genes in the between their repetitive genes. Okay, so basically, CRISPR associated Cas genes were linked to DNA cutting enzymes. Okay, Cas genes are proteins basically. These are the proteins, they can be called as endonuclease of bacterial system. Okay, so these Cas genes basically work for the cutting of the DNA sequence. Next, bacteria with matching spacer resisted viral attacks, proving immunity. So they also performed an experiment regarding this, that they took some bacteria which were previously attacked by some viruses, okay, particular viruses, and some bacteria which were not. Okay, then virus were implanted in that both the chambers, and it was seen that the other bacteria, some of them, half of them were killed. Okay, and in first our chamber, no bacteria was killed because there were the autoimmune system already present of that particular virus, because they were previously attacked and then they made their autoimmune system according, or defense mechanism according to that viruses. So next in 2007, they give the experimental proof, that is Rodolphe Berengo demonstrate CRISPR immunity. Means he physically demonstrate that how this CRISPR immunity works. Okay, in the previous slide, I have made you seen that how the bacteriophages were attacking the bacteria here. These are the bacteriophages and they were attacking the bacteria. Okay, so when they were attacking the bacteria, they were injecting their DNA or RNA in them, and with that particular DNA and RNA, they just cut some sequences, that is spacer sequences. Okay, and they insert that particular spacer sequences in between their repetitive DNA to make a defense mechanism, autoimmunity mechanism regarding to those particular bacteria or sorry viruses or bacteriophages. Okay, so it was the first evidence in Streptococcus thermophilus. Thermophilus is basically the high temperature bacteria. Okay, so it was found in firstly evident became evident in that bacteria, that is Streptococcus thermophilus. This is on the left hand side, this is a image. Okay, so he, that is the Rodolphe Berengo, proved with the experimentation that how CRISPR works. Basically in 2007, he provided experimental proof to rest of the world. Next, in 2012, there was the breakthrough. Okay, so how it was a breakthrough? Basically, this breakthrough was given by Jennifer Doudna and Emmanuel Charpenter. Okay, they engineered CRISPR-Cas9 for programmable editing. Means till now, till 2012, everyone was knowing that it is the basically the bacterial immune system or defense mechanism. Okay, so basically it was just limited to that only. But in 2012, Jennifer Doudna and Emmanuel Charpentier thought of something, like in previous year they thought of something that if it becomes the defense mechanism of that particular bacteria, then it can be means of no reason that it can also become the defense mechanism for other organisms too. Okay, so basically they genetically engineered the CRISPR-Cas9 gene for programmable editing. Okay, so their whole experiment was based on that how we can extract this CRISPR DNA sequence from the bacteria and can use this for other genetic engineering mechanisms too. Okay, so on the left hand side, it is basically in 2012. In 2012, and later on, it was actually in 2015. The CRISPR was on the page of the Science Journal. It is a very good journal for publishing scientific actually findings. If you have found something and if it is published in Science Journal, then of no doubt your scientific finding is very good enough to be published. And the CRISPR was in the front page of that particular journal, that is Science. Okay, so Jennifer Doudna and Emmanuel Charpentier was also have given a breakthrough in this genetic modified engineering technique. Next, moving towards when in 2012 Jennifer Doudna and Emmanuel Charpentier discovered that it can also be used as the immune system defense mechanism in other organisms too, basically in human, then other scientists also start working on this, and they thought that if it is good that it can cure some diseases in the humans too. So in 2016, after 4 years of this discovery that they can be genetically engineered to be in our body, our system too, then in 2016, it was experimented actually for lung cancer treatment in China. So the first human CRISPR trial, actually, till now there was no any human CRISPR trial. Every scientist was studying like the benefits of CRISPR in just bacteria. But in 2012, Jennifer Jennifer Doudna and Emmanuel Charpentier just discovered that it can also be genetically engineered and can also be used for the uh, as the autoimmune system of other organisms too. So in 2016, in China, it was also experimented for lung cancer treatment. So first human CRISPR trial was conducted in October 2016 by the Chinese scientists at West China Hospital, that is Wuhan University, became the first in the world to use CRISPR in human clinical trials targeting lung cancer. Okay, they were just identifying that it can cure lung cancer or not, because like the oncogens are like viruses. We can say that they are very fastly spreading cells, okay, of our body. So basically, as we all know, that cancer is one of the most deadliest diseases. So what can be great than this? Okay, if it is able to treat cancer, then it can be proof of very great importance to the human society too. So what was the method? That researcher edited T cells from the patients to disable the PD-1 gene, which normally inhibits immune response. Okay, aiming to boost the body's ability to fight metastatic non-small cell lung cancer. But what was the global milestone? That this trial marked a major turning point in gene editing therapy, preceding similar trials in US and showing China's lead in CRISPR based on clinical applications. As we all know that China is basically want to be first in every other discoveries and findings. So likewise that they took the step forward, and in 2016 October they made a trial for lung cancer, and miraculously succeeded they were succeeded in their experiment, like it can treat the lung cancer. Then in 2007, then the US, UK, and some other big countries also start doing this gene editing therapy to their jurisdiction area. Okay, so in 2017, after 1 year of the experimentation in the China, so the US took the step forward, okay, and it start working on the sickle cell disease. Okay, so basically what is the sickle cell disease? Like our it is basically our RBCs, the shape of our RBCs when they become like a sickle. Basically our RBCs are in the shape of biconcave lens, okay, from the both of the side, but when it become in the shape of sickle, so it become very difficult for these RBCs to move from our blood arteries, okay, because they become thick. So to treat sickle cell diseases, US put the step forward and start experimenting on the CRISPR tool for the cure of this disease. So, what was the preclinical work in 2017? So, firstly, US researchers began preclinical CRISPR studies targeting the BCL11A gene to reactivate fetal hemoglobin and treat sickle cell disease. Means they start working on the fetus firstly. It can be treated from the stage of fetus if someone is having any sickle cell diseases in the fetus only, so can we treat them or not? So what was the goal of this therapy? So by disrupting BCL11A, scientists aim to increase fetal hemoglobin production, which can reduce the sickling of red blood cells. Okay, then it led to the first clinical trial in 2019. Means they start working in 2017. They developed some techniques. They developed some CRISPR tool. They made it genetically engineered, and then the first clinical trial run in 2019. This research laid the groundbreak of the first US human trials. Okay, that is CRISPR Therapeutics and Vertex's CTX001. Okay, which later showed promising results in the patient. Yes. Likewise, in China, they were also successful in treating the lung cancer. Same happened in the US. They were also succeeded in treating the sickle cell and result in the promising results in the patients. Next, it is basically the timeline from 1987 to 2005. Sorry. Okay. So it is basically the timeline. It is basically the brief of the discoveries or the evolution of CRISPR gene from 1987 to 2020. So in 1987, it was first observed, that is the CRISPR repeats in E. coli, okay, but its function was unknown, and it was discovered by Yoshizumi Ishino of the Osaka University. Then in 2002, till 20 decades, from 1987 to 20 decades, there were not any discovery made regarding this. Everyone was thinking it off as a junk DNA. Then in 2002, the term CRISPR was coined and proposed biological significance, that is Francisco Mujica of the University of Alicante, Spain. He discovered the significance, that is that no, it is not just a piece of junk DNA, it has several significance too. And he coined the actually the term CRISPR. Okay, then in 2005, the CRISPR proposed as bacterial adaptive immune system. In 2005, it was clearly proved that it is basically a bacterial adaptive system by Mojica, Bolotin, and Porcel. Basically, Bolotin and Porcel are some co-workers of Mojica. Okay, and all the three were continuously experimenting from 2000s, and they made a discovery that basically it is a an autoimmune system of the bacteria. Then in 2012, CRISPR-Cas9 adapted for programmable gene editing. Means in 2012, it was confirmed by Doudna and Charpentier that if we program this CRISPR gene, then it can also be used in human bodies, and we can try to adapt some of the diseases. Okay. Then in 2013, first human cell genome edited with CRISPR by Feng Zhang. Feng Zhang is also a very common name in the field of CRISPR development or evolution. So he just worked on the cell genome. Human cell genome means he doesn't work on the humans, but he took some cells from the human genome and then start working for addition of the CRISPR into the human genome, and he edited the CRISPR gene taken from that bacteria. So, firstly, in 2015, the CRISPR modified organisms, that is plants and animals, gained traction. Multiple labs were right. When it was known that it is a boon, then the labs of the popular labs of whole the world were started working on the CRISPR and its modification, that how can we actually discover something new, something extraordinary regarding this technique. So in 2015, everyone was running behind after the CRISPR to get something new from it. Okay. So, and in 2017, the first human clinical trial using CRISPR, that is for sickle cell anemia, and in 2015, that is for lung cancer, was gained the popularity from China and from US. Okay, and fortunately, they were lucky enough, or they were good enough in their work, that they it the technique they were assuming to be of great use actually proved its significance. So in 2020, the Nobel Prize in Chemistry was awarded to Doudna and Charpentier. Now, this is the question, that it was discovered by Ishino. Its significance was told by Mojika. Then why Nobel Prize was given to Doudna and Charpentier? So they just they were just giving the basic knowledge regarding the particular gene system of the bacteria. Okay, but what is science? Basically, science is to know how. But what is discovery? If we talk about research, so what is research? Research is finding something which would aid for the betterment of any community or any organism community. Either it can be human, either it can be or animal, bacteria, viruses, plants, biological, anything which is living. Okay, so the discovery regarding that how we can use these CRISPR genes, these CRISPR sequences for the betterment of human society. It was firstly given by Doudna and Charpentier. So that's why Nobel Prize was given to them only. So in 2021, the first CRISPR-based therapy, that is ex vivo, shows success in beta thalassemia. Thalassemia is basically, what is thalassemia? Can anyone tell me? Yeah, guys. What is beta thalassemia? Anyone? Okay, what is thalassemia? Just only what is thalassemia? Which type of blood disorder? Okay, like it's great. Yashu Chitara. So it is basically a genetic blood disorder, okay, which affects the production of hemoglobin. Okay, that is the protein in the red blood cell, hemoglobin, and it carries oxygen through the body. So if there is any disorder in that particular protein, that is hemoglobin, so this disease took place. It basically caused by the mutation of HBB genes in our body, which provides instruction for making beta globin. Okay, beta globin is, what is beta globin? Beta globin is basically a subunit of hemoglobin, and hemoglobin is made up of 2 alpha globin and 2 beta globin. Okay, so means it is a chained structure, that is 2 alpha globin and 2 beta globin, that is hemoglobin. So beta thalassemia, what is beta thalassemia? That the body is either producing less beta globin or none at all. Means, as we know that hemoglobin is made up of 2 alpha globin and 2 beta globin, but if there is not any production of beta globins, or it is producing, our body is producing less beta globin, then this disorder took place, that is beta thalassemia. Okay. So next in 2022, the first in vivo CRISPR trial for hereditary angioedema, okay, took place by Intellia and Regeneron. And in 2023, FDA approves Casgevy, first CRISPR therapy for sickle cell disease. Means that Casgevy is basically a therapy for sickle cell disease. It was approved by the scientific community. And there was the expansion of CRISPR rapid pathogen detection by scientists and Sherlock biosciences. These basically are the laboratories. Okay, these basically are the laboratories which worked with the CRISPR and diagnosed that there is a property, that is rapid pathogen detection. It can be done with the help of CRISPR. Then in 2025, means the year we are living in, it is expected that first CRISPR-based antimicrobials and cancer immunotherapies enter trials. Means the trials are going on in 2025. Let's see what will happen. Okay, by multiple biotech firms, because there are a lot of biotech firms which are working on this, that is antimicrobial and cancer immunotherapies. Okay. So next, we will be now knowing about the key scientist of the CRISPR. So in the left hand side, you can see the image, that is Yoshizumi Ishino. So he was the first who discovered CRISPR in 1987 while studying the IAP gene in E. coli. He was studying the IAP gene in E. coli. Then Ishino's team accidentally found the unusual repetitive DNA sequences. And these DNA sequences were the CRISPR. Okay. So he published some of its reporting in 1987 in the Journal of Bacteriology. Am I audible? Are you getting my voice? Okay. Actually, there was some light fluctuation in my home. So I thought that for some time the Wi-Fi is not working. But it's good if you are listening it. So back to the topic. So, okay, great. But as we know that he didn't know its function and he termed it as a junk DNA. So at that time, the biological role of the repeats was unknown and not investigated further, because it was already, they already give it a stamp of that it is a junk DNA. So no one investigated for the later 2 decades on this sequence. But after that someone notices it, but it was the foundation, it was a base of this technique that Yoshizumi Ishino of the Osaka University firstly discovered this. Okay, so his findings were the first recorded observation of CRISPR, forming the foundation of the future research. Okay, then it is recognized later, although others were later named and explored. CRISPR function, Ishino is now credited for its initial discovery, because either he worked on it or not, but it was discovered by the Yoshizumi Ishino. Then he is still active in science. Ishino continues to contribute to the molecular biology and participate in CRISPR related academic discussions also. Next, There is a Francisco Mojica. He, as we know that he identified the significance, and where he identified CRISPR in archaea, that is 1993 to 2000s. Okay, so Mojica found similar repeat sequences in Halopharax and Haloaricula, that is archaea. These both are the archaeas, that is Halopharax and Haloaricula. In these archaea, he discovered the CRISPR sequences and expanded CRISPR's present beyond the bacteria. Means, firstly, it was just assumed that it is present only in the bacteria. It was the DNA sequence of bacteria only. But in 1993 to 2000s, when Francisco Mojica was knowing the significance of the particular DNA sequence, that is CRISPR, so he found that it can also be found in archaea too, even more than bacteria. Means, in bacteria we can find this in 40% only, but in archaea it was 90%. So it was nearly double to that of the bacteria. So the two bacteria are Halopharax and Haloaricula. So it was the starting of expanding the CRISPR presence beyond the bacteria and expanding the significance and telling rest of the world about the CRISPR. And he coined the term CRISPR in 2002, that Mojica and his colleagues officially named the system CRISPR, that is clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats, and proposed immune function in 2003 to 2005. He hypothesized, means actually he doesn't get any experiment till then. He just hypothesized. He made a hypothesis. Now, what is hypothesis? Hypothesis is like if you are thinking about something that it can happen or not. So on the basis of previous findings, if someone has found something, or only you had found something, sorry, so only you had found something, then you can propose a hypothesis. Okay, and the proposed sentence actually, okay, the proposed sentence the proposed sentence to that particular discovery means, if you are discovering something and then you made a discovery regarding you state the statement regarding that means imaginary thoughts of yours, then it is known as hypothesis. Okay, means you firstly studied the literature review. What is literature review? Literature review is basically the previous findings who have done by the some scientist or by yourself too. Then you have made a basically hypothetical statement, then that it can happen or not. Means, in previous times, like if someone has studied some microorganism, any microorganism like bacteria only, so he proved that this bacteria is basically found in the salt water. But if you have studied some more papers and articles and you think that it can also be found in fresh water, so it is your hypothesis of further research. Okay, that this particular bacteria may also be found in fresh waters, and you start working on this. And if you proved this, like it can be found in the fresh water too, then it becomes your research. So the first foremost uh, line or the theory for any research is known as hypothesis. Okay, so he published, despite of rejection, his groundbreaking paper basically proposing the immune defenses role of CRISPR faced multiple rejection but was finally published in 2005. Actually, it is very hard if you are making some new discovery. Okay, so it become very hard to get it worldwide accepted. So he also, that is the Francisco Mojica, also faced some of the very much rejection from the uh, scientific community. But then his paper finally published in 2005. He inspired the future research that Mojica's insight directly influenced the scientists like Rudd Jansen, who identified the Cas genes. Rudd Jansen identified the Cas genes, so he also became interested in this CRISPR sequence. Why it is so? Because he knows that if there is any DNA sequence present, then Cas9 genes being the endonucleases, it can be proof of great help for cutting that particular DNA sequence, that is the CRISPR sequences, and led to the later applications by the Doudna and Charpentier. So he recognized as the CRISPR pioneer. Okay. Why he was recognized as CRISPR pioneer? Because he identified the significance of that particular genes. So he now globally acknowledged as the foundational figure of CRISPR research. Who discovered CRISPR? He was this Yoshizumi Ishino. He just discovered the CRISPR accidentally, actually. But Francisco Mojica is known as the pioneer of the CRISPR technology because he was the foundational figure, because he proposed the research in the field. Next, here we are having Jennifer Doudna. He is the co-developed, he actually co-developed with the Charpentier, that is the CRISPR-Cas9 tool in 2012, that along with Emmanuel Charpentier, Doudna demonstrated that how the CRISPR-Cas9 system could be useful to edit the gene precisely in vitro. Okay. So, what is in vitro? Can anyone tell me what is in vitro? In vitro and in vivo. Actually, basically, leave it here. I will just tell you because we are having not much time. So basically, in vitro, if we define in simple, right? Very good. Haralakal Kirti. Right. In vitro is in lab and in vivo is in living organism. Means we are performing anything, we are doing experimentation within the living organism. Okay, like animals or humans. Okay. So they edited the gene precisely in vitro and then published the groundbreaking paper in 2012. That is their paper in Science. The first paper discovered in any journal of CRISPR with great importance was discovered in the Science journal. That is highly acknowledged journal in the of the field of science. Okay. So it showed that the CRISPR-Cas9 could be programmed with RNA to cut specific DNA sequences and it pioneered genome editing revolution. Doudna work who's turned CRISPR into revolutionary gene editing tool used in biology, medicine, and agriculture also. There are various fields for which this technique was proved to be a boon. Okay. So emphasized ethical use. She has been vocal advocate for ethical discussion and regulation for human genome editing technology, and she received a Nobel Prize in 2020 along with the Charpentier jointly. Okay, in the field of chemistry for developing CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing, and continues leading CRISPR research. She leads the Innovative Genomic Institute, that is IGI, advancing CRISPR application in curing the genetic disease. Next, we are having Emmanuel Charpentier. So, she discovered the track RNA in 2011 while studying Streptococcus pyogenes. Charpentier discovered track RNA, a crucial component of the CRISPR-Cas9 system. Okay, and then she collaborated with Jennifer Doudna in 2011 and 12. Okay, to recreate the bacterial CRISPR-Cas9 system in a test tube for programmable gene editing. Okay, as we know that it was in vitro experimentation, so they prepared it in a test tube. It's up to you, Yashu. You can do whatever is good for you. Okay. So moving towards next, then they published the seminal paper in 2012, that is was in Science, and then it revolutionized the gene editing. That is, the Charpentier work helped convert a bacterial immune system into a powerful and precise genetic engineering tool. Okay, and won Nobel Prize in chemistry along with the Doudna, and then founded a research institute. She also founded a research institute Charpentier established the Max Planck unit for the science of pathogens. Okay, continuing CRISPR and pathogen research. Now we are having the last scientist of our row, that is Feng Zhang. Okay, so he adapted CRISPR for eukaryotic cells in 2013. Okay, as we know that bacteria and archaeas are prokaryotic in nature, so he started working in eukaryotic cell, that is human cells. Okay, so Feng Zhang was the first to successfully demonstrate CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing in mammalian cells. Means how can it work in mammals as a defensive mechanism? So he was studying this and rapid advancement of CRISPR technology. So his lab at the Broad Institute optimized CRISPR components for use in human and animal cells, accelerating biomedical applications. Then filed key patents. In 2012, he patented some things. That is, the Broad Institute filed patents for CRISPR-Cas9 use in eukaryotes before Doudna's day. Means Doudna was working previously than him, but he was the one who filed patent. What are patents? Patents are basically under the intellectual property rights. Okay, so in that, if you discovered something new which is not known to world, so you can just make itself yours, that without your permission no one would be able to use it or would use it for the experimentation. Okay, so patents basically last for 20 years. Like if you have discovered anything, if you have discovered like what can we say, uh, okay, so if you have discovered a bacteria present in our microgenome of our body, okay, which was not previously discovered, that then you can just by studying it and giving its morphology and anatomical features, you can just patent on that particular bacteria that it was discovered by me. So no one would be in future for rest 20 years would be able to research on that without your permission. And if someone do that, it will violate the law of intellectual property rights, that is IPR. Okay, so before Dodna's team to made a patents, he just filed the patent and had the patent in 2012 for CRISPR-9-Cas use in eukaryote systems. And then he expanded CRISPR toolsets. That is, Zhang team developed new CRISPR tools like CPF11. It is also known as Cas12 and Cas13, broadening gene editing for RNA targeting capabilities. Okay, then focus on therapeutic use. So he applies CRISPR in developing treatments of genetic diseases like sickle cell anemia and Huntington disease. Now, what is Huntington disease? Anyone? So basically, Huntington is a neurodegenerative disorder, okay, that causes the progressive breakdown of nerve cells in the brain, and it affects the movement, cognition, and behavior. Means if someone is having Huntington's, then with the growing age, means till 15, 16 years of his or her age, he would be seen as normal. But after then, the neurons, the nerve cells of his or her brain start degenerating of on its own. And then this degeneration of the neurons or the ganglions present in the brain of that particular person will affect the movement, cognition, and the behavior. And then after the passage, with the passage of time, it start worsening. Is there will be a point then that the person would not be able to feel anything, would not be able to think anything. Okay, so it is basically a very rare disease, but it is known as Huntington disease. So for the Huntington, that is the genetic, that can be genetic disease, he start finding the cure for that with the help of this CRISPR-Cas9 gene. So he is the leader in CRISPR innovation. Zhang is considered as a major innovator of translating CRISPR into practical medical and therapeutic tools. Next, basically we know that in popular culture, CRISPR is also used, like the movies of Rampage and Biohackers. These both movies are based on the CRISPR technology. CRISPR technique. Then there is a TV program that is Orphan Black. They also use this technique. Okay, like in memes, like the CRISPR cat edits. Okay, and visual like media collage, etc. So media has also given some of the means. Obviously, the if anything or any technique gains the popularity, then it will surely be the spotlight for the media. Okay, next. So it was the end of our topic. So here we have come to the summary of our whole uh, lecture. That is, the first discovery of the CRISPR was made in 1987. Okay, so the CRISPR sequences first observed in E. coli by Yoshizumi Ishino, but their function was unknown. Then the function was revealed in 2000 after the 2 decades by the Francisco Mojica and Rodolphe Berengo. They identified the CRISPR as bacterial immune system against the viruses. Next, molecular mechanism was discovered in 2012 by Jennifer Doudna and Emmanuel Charpentier. But before them, there was Fan Zhang, who was working on the effects of CRISPR-Cas9 gene on the eukaryote cells. Then the Doudna and Charpentier won the Nobel Prize in 2020 in the chemistry division, okay, for CRISPR-Cas9. So what are the key components of CRISPR-Cas9? That is Cas9 protein, that is molecular caesar, endonuclease, and then there is a guide RNA. Guide RNA means it targets specific DNA sequence. What is its impact? It basically revolutionized the medicine, that is gene therapy, agriculture, like disease-resistant crops. If any crop is prone to any disease, so it can also be cured with the help of CRISPR-Cas9 gene. And in biotechnology, obviously, it is basically the boon for biotechnology. So every biotechnologist is, if they are working in great field of CRISPR, so they are developing something day by day. These are the references if you want to get in the deep of this topic. So these are basically the classical references, I can say. Okay, so Jennifer Doudna and Samuel Sternberg, that is the actually the founder of the work of CRISPR-Cas9 gene in the eukaryote cell, that is Jennifer Doudna. So it's her book actually. Okay, a crack in creation, gene editing, and unthinkable power to control evolution. If you want to study it, you can read it. And then there is Editing Humanity. Then there is a CRISPR-Cas laboratory manual. Okay, then there is on the question fourth. There is the classical paper which was published by the Ishino in 1987 in the Journal of Bacteriology. This is the paper. If you want to read its finding, that what were his finding, then you can go to this paper and you can read it. And then there is the paper of Mojica. Okay, when he proposed in 2005, when he proposed the significance of the CRISPR-9. And then there is a paper of Berengu also in 2007. Along with the Mojica, he was working on the significance and the uses of this CRISPR-Cas9 tool. So these are basically the classical paper. I have provided these classical paper, and if any of you wants any book regarding the CRISPR, you can ask me. I will try to give you any ebook, actually any ebook related to CRISPR. Okay, so that's what the references, and that's what our topic for today now. If anyone is having any doubt, then he or she can ask in chat, and then we will start our question answer session. Akansha, actually, I am studying in university and I have access of over 3 lakhs of books. Okay, so I will try to find a book regarding the CRISPR in that, and if I will find, then yes, it will be free for you. No, it will be free from my side. I will be giving the ebook for free. Always, always. So, can we start our question answer session? Okay, so if you want any book, so you can also message me on LinkedIn. Okay, so my LinkedIn profile is from the same name, that is Ghazal Yadav. So I will give you that book. Okay, regarding CRISPR if you want to study. So moving towards the question answer session. So here is our first question. So it is, my name is Ghazal Akansha, Ghazal Yadav, Ghazal by ADAV. So this is the question number one here. That is, CRISPR is a naturally occurring system in. Just be responsive, all the people, and just give me the answer for this. Guys, give some answers, please. Okay. Here's the answer of Akansha. What is for rest of four of the students here? B and C. It can't be two, Dr. Priyanka Gupta. CRISPR is not the system of viruses actually, because it is the gene. Only it is a DNA sequence of the bacteria. But naturally occurring defense system, it is of just bacteria and archaea. Yes, the correct answer is B. Basically, we know that the prokaryotes develop CRISPR as an adaptive immune system against the bacteriophages, that is, viruses and infect bacteria. Unlike humans, bacteria lack antibody-based immunity. Unlike we, that we are having antibody-based immunity, like our WBC start producing antibodies regarding that particular virus or any bacteria. So the prokaryote doesn't have that system. So they use their genetic memory system. Okay, evidence, what was the evidence? That the when the scientists delete the CRISPR region, then the bacteria become more vulnerable. Okay, it becomes the more vulnerable to phages infections. Next question, the CR in CRISPR stands for. What does the CR in CRISPR stands for? Okay, great, Varsha. More, very good, Irshad. So right, it is clustered regularly. Next, CRISPR was originally discovered in. In which year CRISPR was originally discovered? Very good, everyone. So it was discovered in 1987 by Ishino of Osaka University. Next, what is the biological function of natural CRISPR? What is the biological function of natural CRISPR? Very good, great. Okay, great. It is bacterial immunity. Next, great, Irshad. Great, everyone. So next, the scientist who first observed CRISPR sequence was from. Where was he from? Where is Osaka University? Some more answers. Great Varsha, great Isha, Dakansha, great. Basically, Osaka University is a basically a public research university in Osaka, Japan. Okay, it was established in 1931 actually, so it was in Japan. Next, CRISPR sequences were initially thought to be. What were they thought to be? That what were they? Great, great, great. They were considered to be as the junk DNA, the DNA which doesn't aid in the genetic makeup of a person or any organism. Next, the term CRISPR was officially coined in which year? Okay, okay, great, great. It is 2012. Very good, everyone. Next, the spacer sequences in CRISPR arrays come from. Oh, sorry. Oh, I just, okay, I'm sorry. It was 2002, right, Akansha? I just mispronounced it. My tongue slipped. Really sorry for that. But thank you for correcting me. So, the next question. The spacer sequences in CRISPR arrays come from. We had discussed we had discussed previously that there is a sequence that is CRISPR sequence, and in between that there is a spacer sequence. Okay, that spacer sequence were taken from the viruses by the bacteria. Okay, firstly there is a CRISPR sequence, then there is a spacer, then there is a CRISPR, and likewise in the continuity alternation. Okay, so what is the answer? Right, it is viral DNA. Next, before its genome editing application, CRISPR was studied in. Actually, Priyanka, it can't be D. Let me correct you. Plasmid basically is a circular double-stranded DNA, and it is found in archaea and eukaryote cells. Okay, so as I have told you that they are not having, that is the bacteria and archaea, they doesn't have the prokaryotes. all the prokaryotes organisms doesn't have their immune system likewise ours. Okay, so they just took some part of the DNA from that particular external species that is infecting them, and then they made a proper autoimmune system from that. Okay, by adding as that particular strand of DNA or RNA as their spacer. Okay, so it can't be a plasmid DNA because plasmid DNA is basically of bacteria, and they can also occur in the archaea. And in some of the eukaryotes can also have the plasmid DNA. That, for example, yeast. Yeast is also having the plasmid DNA. Okay, so yes, ninth. Before its genome editing application, CRISPR was studied in actually not in cancer. It was studied in Streptococcus thermophilus. It is basically uh, found in yogurt. Okay, yeah, yogurt production. It is yogurt production. Means actually the experiment was not in on yogurt, but it was on the bacteria found in the yogurt, which aids in the production of yogurts. That is Streptococcus thermophilus. Next, the PAM sequence was discovered to be important for. What does the PAM sequence was discovered to be important for? Okay, great. Someone else? Right, great. It is Cas9 target recognition. Basically, Cas9 only cuts the DNA if it finds the DNA target sequence adjacent to the PAM, that is protospacer adjacent motif. What is PAM? That is protospacer adjacent motif. Next, Francisco Mujica demonstrated that CRISPR is. According to Francisco Mujica, what was CRISPR? More answers, please. Okay, great. Right, very good, Varsha, Kansha, and Irshad. It is bacterial immune system. Right, Suhani. Next, the first experimental proof of CRISPR immunity was shown in. We have studied this in the question earlier to the previous one, which was the bacteria present in the yogurt. Very good. More answers, please. Great. It is Streptococcus thermophilus. Right, great, Suhani, Ishad, everyone, great. It is Streptococcus thermophilus. Next, the 2012 breakdown paper on CRISPR-Cas9 was published by. Who published the paper in 2012? Which later on becomes the front page of the journal, that is Science. Priyanka, it was in 1987 that Ishino published the paper, and uh, right, it is Dodna and Charpentier. Very good, great. Next, Emmanuel Charpentier was working on which bacteria when she discovered CRISPR-Cas9? Which was the bacteria they were studying, they were working on? No one would say E. coli because E. coli, it was Ishino who was working on E. coli in 1987. Okay. So firstly, the E. coli was the first bacteria which was studied for this CRISPR by Ishino in 1987. But Emmanuel and Charpentier studied Streptococcus pyogenes. I will go to the slide back. Where was it? We have studied it. Actually, I'm a little bit confused, but we have studied this. Like you can see here, Escherichia coli was studied by Yoshizumi Ishino. Okay, we have studied somewhere this. Here, in the first line, you can see they were studying Streptococcus pyogenes. Is it visible? Is the screen visible to you all? While discovering track RNA, they were track RNA. For that, they were studying Streptococcus pyogenes. Okay, great. So, what will be the answer here? The answer is C. That is Streptococcus pyogenes. Next, the first demonstration of eukaryote genome editing using CRISPR was in. Okay, no issues, Akansha. You can go. Others, please answer this. The first demonstration of eukaryotic genome editing using CRISPR was in. It was in 2013 by Feng Zhang, because in 2012 the CRISPR and the Charpentier and Doudna were studying it. Okay, on the full human. Okay, but on the genome, eukaryotic genome. Eukaryotic genome means the cell. On the eukaryote cell, the studies were conducted by Feng Zhang. Next, the Broad Institute versus UC Berkeley patented dispute involved. Okay, it was not in our syllabus, in our slide, so I will tell you that the Broad Institute versus UC Berkeley patent means it was a case between Jennifer Doudna and Feng because the Feng patented that the CRISPR work will be on eukaryote cells will be patented by him only. Okay, so it was both A and B. Next, the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for CRISPR was awarded in which year the Nobel Prizes in Chemistry for CRISPR was awarded? Others, please respond also. Varsha is not having the responsibility of all of you to be answerable for the questions. Please respond. Right, it is C, 2020. Next, which of these scientists did not share the Nobel Prize for CRISPR? Okay, other than Varsha. Great, it is Feng Zhang. The Jennifer and Doudna were awarded with the Nobel Prize only. Next, the first country to approve CRISPR-based therapy was, which was the first country who allowed the human trials? Very good, Varsha. Other lazy souls, please respond. Fast, fast. Guys, be responsive. Which was the first country to approve a CRISPR-based therapy? Other than Varsha, please at least respond. Yep. Next, the controversial CRISPR babies experiment occurred in. So, the controversial CRISPR babies experiment occurred in 2018. Okay. So, basically, it was left off, but there were two babies who were edited by CRISPR and get to born, that were Lulu and Nana. Okay, so these were the two babies who were CRISPR edited. Okay, what were their name? Their name were Lulu and Nana. Next, the scientist responsible for the CRISPR babies was, actually it was not in your syllabus. So, this question, the first human clinical trial using CRISPR was for treating which disease, for which disease the first human clinical trial were being run. The China was conducting their clinical trial for which human disease? Great Suhani. Right, Rashad. It's B. Lung cancer. Next, the journal that published the seminal 2012 CRISPR paper was. In 2012, in which journal the paper of CRISPR was published? Great. It was the journal Science. Next, Rudolf Berengo's work demonstrated CRISPR immunity in bacteria used for. What type of product was the yogurt? He worked on yogurt. Streptococcus thermophilus. The answer is, what's the answer? It's the dairy fermentation. Great. The first organism to have its genome edited with CRISPR was. Actually, it was not also studied, so it was all the organisms here. Okay, means firstly they have taken a prokaryote, that is bacteria. They studied the prokaryote cells, then the yeast, that is eukaryote cells. Okay, then the fruit flies. Next, the correct chronological order is, which is the correct chronological order? So as we are having less time, I will give the answer for this. It is the correct answer is A here. Right, great Varsha. So firstly, the discovery took place, then the proof of their immunity, that the CRISPR gene is used for basically the immunity purpose. Then the eukaryote editing took place, that the work on the eukaryote cells. Then they win the Nobel Prizes. Next, the time between CRISPR's discovery and Nobel Prize was about. The discovery of CRISPR took place in 1987 and the Nobel Prize was given in 2020. So, approx how many years? Great. It is C. Suhani. I think you are bad at maths, right? You just have to sum up the years from 1987 to 2020. But it's okay, Baba. You are doing great. You have responded many of the questions. Okay. So, which award recognized CRISPR before the Nobel? So, in the field of science, basically, there is breakthrough prize. Means if you have discovered something unusual or something great, then there is a prize known as breakthrough prize. Okay, so Dorn and Charpentier also won the breakthrough prize in life science. Then the first CRISPR patent was filed in. It's okay, Suhani. I also got confused in 2002 and 2012 in previous question. There was running 2002 in my mind and I just spoke the 2012. Great, it is 2012. Last question of this session, it is the CRISPR babies experiment targeted with gene. So it is not also in your was in your slide. So the correct answer is CCR5. Okay. So the targeted gene for CRISPR babies was CCR5. It is basically associated with HIV resistance. Okay. For human embryos. No, its answer is Varsha B. CCR5. Okay. So basically, you have actually most of the children will get vaccination of HIV. Okay, in that is human infected viruses in foreign. Okay, in foreign countries, most of the student children get this vaccination, HIV vaccine. Likewise, the hepatitis vaccination in our country. Okay, for hepatitis B. So the scientists thought that it would be better that they will become resistant by editing some genes rather than injecting a vaccination. Okay, so they just took the experiment of CRISPR babies, and the babies born in 2018, that were Lulu and Nana. Okay, and the gene which was targeted was CCR5. Okay, thank you so much, guys. This is all for today. Okay, so firstly, tell me that you all are of which what is your subject, and either you are UG student or PG students. You're welcome, Varsha. Okay, great, Suhani. Everyone here is UG student. Is a UG student. Okay, great, Irshad, PG botany. Great, Suhani. Dr. Priyanka, are you pursuing MBBS or means PhD like me? Varsha, PG botany. Okay, great. So thank you all. Thank you for your time. And it's time to say goodbye. We will meet in our next lecture, that is tomorrow. Okay. So till then, goodbye. Have a great day. And sayonara. Hasta la vista. We will meet, yeah, tomorrow. Okay. Bye bye. Take care. Always welcome. Bye bye.